Good morning. So today we're going to start talking about writing quadratic equations in standard form. Okay, a quadratic in standard form is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is standard form for a quadratic equation. Okay, so sometimes you may see it like this. Okay, and this form right here is called a vertex form. So what we can do is we can use our order of operations to simplify this quadratic and put it in standard form. So what I mean is that we can FOIL. Okay, so we can take that x minus h, we can square it, multiply it then by a, and then add our k to it. Okay, then we can combine our like terms and simplify to put it back into that ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, all right, let's do an example here. Okay, so this is considered vertex form. So to get it in standard form, I'm going to have to square that. So remember, what we're going to do is we're going to say x minus 2 times x minus 2, and then we'll add our 3. So we'll distribute it. So x times x gives me an x squared. X times negative 2 gives me a negative 2x. Negative 2 times x gives me a negative 2x. And negative 2 times a negative 2 gives me a positive 4. We'll keep our plus 3 over here. So solve. So x squared minus 2x, that's going to be negative 4x. And then 4 plus 3 gives me a 7. So there's your standard form. Okay. All right. I want y'all to try to do one for me. Okay, so try to do this one for me. So 2 times x plus 3 squared minus a 2. So order of operations, tell me I'm going to do the exponent first. So that means you're going to do your multiplication of x plus 3 times x plus 3. And then you multiply by 2. So I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Okay, so what you should have done first is do your x plus 3 times your x plus 3. Then multiply it times 2. So x times x gives me an x squared. X times 3 gives me a 3x. 3 times x gives me a 3x. 3 times 3 gives me a 9. Okay, so combine your like terms before you distribute. So that'll be x squared plus 6x plus a 9. So 2 times, now we multiply. So 2 times x squared, 2 times 6x, which is a 12x, and 2 times 9, which is an 18. So now finally, we'll have 2x squared plus 12x plus 16. Okay? So writing from vertex form to standard form, just using your order of operations to simplify, and writing in standard form where it's your x squared term, your x term, and then your constant. Okay? So one more thing that we want to cover today. Okay, so this is writing quadratic equations by identifying their roots. Okay, so that would mean that you have a graph, okay, because remember when you're solving for your roots are where it crosses the x-axis. Alright, so, well, the marker's not drawing there. So if I had this graph right here, that means that your quadratic would be in a form like this. Okay? So what this means is that x here is going to be equal to a -1 and x is going to be equal to a 2. Right? That is where it crosses the x-axis. Those are my roots. That means that those are my factors, okay, solved for 0, right? So if I get this back to 0, then I would move the -1 to the other side, so it would become a +1. I'll move my 2 to the other side, so it would become a +2. So my roots inside here are going to be the opposite signs. So it's going to be x plus 1 times, well, if I can do my opposite sign there, I can't, right? Not today. Move that over, so it's going to be x minus 2, not a plus 2, sorry, because you're moving it to the other side. Okay? So those would be considered my roots there. All right, so now when I write this in standard form, then I would have to FOIL it out. So we would say x times x, which is an x squared, x times -2, which is a -2x, 1 times x, which is a 1x, and 1 times -2, which is a -2. Simplified, so x squared minus an x minus a 2. Okay, so let's do another one here. So here, identifying the root, okay, so this would be, if I was going to write this in quadratic equation, so my root here would be a -4, and the other one would be a +2. Okay, so that would mean that what? It's going to be the opposite sign, so if I move that over, so it'd be x plus 4, this one would be x minus 2. So just working backwards a little bit. So the standard form here, we first have to put it in the multiples in the factored form, so that'd be x plus 4 times x minus 2. And then what do? We multiply it out. So x times x is an x squared, x times -2 is a -2x, 4 times x is a 4x, 4 times -2 is a -8. So x squared plus a 2x minus an 8 is taking the roots and finding the standard form. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so the roots here, we have one is x equals -8, and the other one is x equals a -5. So we move it over, so it's going to be an x plus an 8. Move it over, x plus a 5. Okay, so that means I'm going to have two roots, x plus 8 times x plus 5. So x times x is an x squared, x times 5 is a 5x, 8 times x is an 8x, and 8 times 5 is a 40. Well, that would help if I could read my graph. What does that say right there? Sorry, I was looking back at the graph, and I thought that looked like a 5, but that is a 3 on the graph. Okay, so let's try again. So it's a -3. It's the end of the semester. I must be going crazy. Actually, I've always been crazy, so Okay, so let's try again. So that was a -3, I'm sorry. Couldn't count, couldn't see. Okay, but that is a -3. Okay, so x equals -3, so move it over, so it's going to be x plus 3. So that my two roots over here are x plus 3 times x plus 8. So we then want to multiply x times 3, that's a 3x, 8 times x, which is an 8x, and then 8 times 3, which is a 24. Combine your like terms, so this is going to be y equals x squared plus 11x plus 24. Okay. All right, so we're going to review for our test on Monday, and then we'll have our test on Tuesday. All right, you'll have a great day.